Green card access is a gateway to the American dream, but that access may soon close for several Asian nations. Policy changes in 2026 could end opportunities for millions. In this video, we talk about the 7 Asian countries that could lose green card access in 2026 and explain the real reasons behind this. And now, let's dive in. Number 7, Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is at risk of losing green card access in 2026 due to mounting concerns over immigration fraud and economic instability. Why could Sri Lanka face suspension of green card issuance? The main reason is a deepening economic crisis that has fueled desperate attempts to migrate. Since 2022, Sri Lanka has struggled with extreme inflation, fuel shortages, and political instability. These challenges pushed many citizens to seek better lives abroad, especially in the United States. But desperation is creating problems. US immigration officials have reported a growing number of applications from Sri Lanka that include forged documents, fake job offers, and false family connections. With embassies overwhelmed and document verification harder than ever, these fraudulent attempts are raising red flags in Washington. Another factor is Sri Lanka's passport ranking, which has dropped due to political unrest, making applicants subject to more scrutiny. The country's unstable government makes it difficult to verify applicant backgrounds reliably. US officials cannot confirm employment histories, educational records, or identity documents with confidence. In 2026, the US is considering putting Sri Lanka on a restricted list, especially under policies favoring national security and tighter immigration controls. This could severely limit or suspend green card issuance entirely. If you're from Sri Lanka and planning to migrate, the clock might be ticking. Oh, before we go to the next country, comment down below where you are watching. We'd love to know where you are from. And now, let's go to the next country. Number 6, Myanmar. Myanmar could lose green card access in 2026 due to political chaos and human rights concerns that make US officials increasingly cautious. Why is Myanmar at risk of losing green card eligibility? The main reason is the country's political instability following the military coup. Since 2021, Myanmar has experienced civil unrest, violence, and the collapse of democratic institutions. This has destroyed public records, displaced millions, and created a documentation nightmare for immigration officials. Many Myanmar applicants cannot present complete identity documents, educational records, or employment verification. From the US immigration perspective, this presents a major security problem. The vetting process depends on reliable background checks, and that's nearly impossible when your country has no functioning central database. Without secure channels to confirm someone's identity, US officials are becoming more cautious. Another concern is the refugee situation, complicating regular immigration pathways. While humanitarian channels may remain open, family-based and employment-based, green cards could be suspended. The US Embassy operates under severely limited capacity, making document verification even harder. Human rights concerns add another layer. The US has imposed sanctions on Myanmar's military leadership affecting immigration relations. As of 2026, lawmakers are calling for halts to immigration from countries that cannot provide document transparency, and Myanmar tops that list. Number 5, Bangladesh. Bangladesh faces serious risk of losing green card access in 2026 as US immigration authorities flag growing concerns over fraud and verification issues. Why could Bangladesh lose green card eligibility? The primary reason is an alarming rise in fraudulent applications. US officials have documented increasing cases of Bangladeshi applicants submitting forged documents, fake employment letters, and false family relationship claims. These fraudulent attempts overwhelm embassy resources and create suspicion around legitimate applications. Another major factor is difficulty in verifying applicant information. Bangladesh's record-keeping systems are inconsistent, especially in rural areas. US immigration officers struggle to confirm educational credentials, employment histories, and basic identity documents. Without reliable verification, the risk becomes too high. Visa overstay rates also contribute to the problem. Data shows many Bangladeshi nationals who enter on temporary visas do not return home as required. High overstay rates trigger red flags affecting all immigration categories. Security concerns add pressure too. Document fraud rings operating in Bangladesh have been exposed, showing organized networks that help fabricate credentials. These revelations have made US authorities more skeptical. In 2026, the US government is reviewing high-risk countries for potential green card restrictions, and Bangladesh appears prominently on that list. If current fraud trends continue, a temporary or permanent suspension could follow, affecting thousands of honest Bangladeshi families hoping for American opportunities. Wait, if you found this video interesting, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more content, and tap the notification bell so you never miss an update. And now, let's go to the next country. Number 4, Vietnam. Vietnam could lose green card access in 2026 despite decades of successful Vietnamese-American integration and growing bilateral ties between both nations. Why is Vietnam at risk of losing green card eligibility? The primary reason is increasing concerns over document fraud and verification challenges that have emerged in recent years. US immigration officials have flagged a growing number of Vietnamese applications containing questionable documents, particularly regarding employment history and educational credentials. While Vietnam has made progress in modernizing record-keeping systems, rural areas still lack reliable digital infrastructure, making verification difficult for US authorities. Another significant factor is the rise in fraudulent marriage cases. Immigration officials have uncovered networks facilitating fake marriages between Vietnamese nationals and US citizens solely for immigration benefits. These arranged marriages undermine family-based green card programs. When discovered, they trigger broader scrutiny of all Vietnamese applications affecting legitimate couples. Visa overstay patterns also contribute to concerns. Recent data shows an uptick in Vietnamese nationals who enter on tourist or student visas but remain illegally after expiration. High overstay rates create red flags that influence green card policies across all categories. Business immigration fraud adds another layer. Some Vietnamese nationals have been caught using fake job offers or fraudulent company sponsorships to qualify for employment-based green cards. These cases damage Vietnam's reputation in the immigration system significantly. Security cooperation concerns also play a role. The US wants stronger information sharing agreements with Vietnam to conduct thorough background checks on applicants. Limited cooperation makes vetting more difficult and increases perceived risk of approving questionable applications. Number 3. Nepal. Nepal is facing potential loss of green card access in 2026 due to mounting concerns about immigration fraud, document reliability, and human trafficking networks that exploit US immigration systems. Why could Nepal lose green card eligibility? The primary reason is the dramatic increase in fraudulent applications detected by US immigration authorities over recent years. Officials have documented rising cases where Nepali nationals used fake documents, fabricated job offers, and false family relationships to qualify for green cards. Many applicants were coached by unauthorized consultants who promised shortcuts to permanent residency, creating organized fraud that undermines legitimate applications. Another serious concern is human trafficking and exploitation. Nepal's poverty and political instability have made citizens vulnerable to traffickers who use the US immigration system for illegal purposes. Some traffickers exploit the diversity visa lottery program, submitting applications under false identities or arranging fake marriages to smuggle people into the United States. These cases seriously undermine legal immigration integrity and trigger stricter scrutiny. Document verification challenges create additional problems. Nepal lacks the reliable digital infrastructure necessary for US authorities to conduct thorough background checks. Officials face major hurdles when trying to verify educational credentials, employment history, or basic identity information. This verification gap makes it easier for bad actors to manipulate the system with fraudulent documents. Visa overstay rates compound the issue. Data shows increasing numbers of Nepali nationals who enter on tourist or student visas but never leave as required. These violations create patterns that influence immigration policies. Number 2, Pakistan. Pakistan faces serious risk of losing green card access in 2026 as US immigration policies tighten around countries that present security concerns and verification challenges. Why could Pakistan lose green card eligibility? The primary reason is national security concerns that have intensified in recent years. The US government conducts enhanced security screening on Pakistani nationals due to concerns about terrorism and regional instability. While the vast majority of Pakistani applicants are peaceful professionals seeking better opportunities, heightened security protocols make the entire process more complicated and risky from the US perspective. Background verification challenges create major obstacles. US immigration officials have reported difficulties confirming applicant histories due to inconsistent documentation, especially from rural areas of Pakistan. When applicants come from conflict-prone regions or lack complete digital records, it raises red flags for national security agencies. The inability to verify someone's complete background makes authorities hesitant to approve green card applications. Another significant factor is visa overstay patterns. Reports show growing numbers of Pakistani nationals who overstay temporary US visas or violate immigration terms. While this doesn't reflect all Pakistanis, immigration authorities view these violations seriously. In an era of stricter border controls, even relatively small spikes in violations can trigger large-scale policy shifts affecting entire countries. Document fraud concerns compound the problem. US officials have flagged cases involving questionable documents from Pakistan, particularly fake employment letters and fabricated educational credentials. These fraud cases create systemic distrust that affects legitimate applicants. When fraud is detected, it triggers enhanced scrutiny of all applications from that country. Political instability within Pakistan adds another concern. Economic struggles and security challenges have pushed more Pakistani citizens to seek permanent residency abroad through any available means. This sudden surge strains the US immigration system and leads policymakers to consider restrictions. The lack of reliable embassy infrastructure in certain regions complicates matters further. Pakistani applicants must process applications through third-party locations, creating delays, inconsistencies, and verification gaps that US immigration officials are increasingly unwilling to tolerate. In 2026, lawmakers are pushing for tighter scrutiny or even temporary freezes on green card issuances to certain high-risk countries, and Pakistan appears prominently on these lists. Number 1. Iran. Iran faces the highest risk of losing green card access in 2026, potentially ending all pathways to US permanent residency for Iranian nationals. Why is Iran most likely to lose green card eligibility? The primary reason is decades of political tension and deteriorating diplomatic relations between Iran and the United States. Trump's administration maintains an extremely cautious stance toward Iranian immigration due to national security concerns, and this affects every category of green card application. Iranian nationals already face the most rigorous background checks of any nationality, and approval rates have dropped significantly in recent years. Security concerns drive most of this restrictive policy. US government officials worry about potential threats stemming from Iranian nationals, especially amid renewed nuclear negotiations and intelligence concerns. While the vast majority of Iranian immigrants are professionals, students, and families seeking better lives, a few isolated incidents involving visa fraud and security issues have cast long shadows over the entire Iranian applicant pool. These isolated cases, though rare, create systemic distrust that affects everyone. Another critical factor is Iran's extremely limited diplomatic ties with the United States. There is no American embassy in Tehran, which means all green card applications must be processed through third-party countries like Turkey, the United Arab Emirates, or Armenia. This extra step creates massive delays, inconsistencies, and verification gaps that US immigration officials find increasingly problematic. Processing applications without direct embassy access makes thorough vetting nearly impossible, raising security concerns. Iran's government also tightly controls internet access and restricts communication channels, which severely hampers US agencies' ability to conduct reliable background checks. When officials cannot verify someone's employment history, educational credentials, or even basic identity through normal channels, the risk becomes too high for approval. The geopolitical situation adds immense pressure. Iran's relationships with countries currently under US scrutiny, combined with ongoing nuclear program disputes, make American policymakers extremely cautious about any Iranian immigration. Even family reunification cases face extraordinary delays and frequent denials. In 2026, under growing political pressure and security concerns, the US is conducting comprehensive reviews of high-risk countries, and Iran consistently appears at the top of every list. Thanks for watching. Before you go, make sure to like, subscribe, and smash the notification bell. Which country do you think should not be on this list? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'll be reading and replying to as many as possible.